Hi friends, Ashley Leppert here, author of The Hurricane Within, Volume 1 and 2. Take a moment and head on over to jeanvalentino.com and subscribe so you can get all the latest podcasts from Grassroots Truthcast. See you later, friends.
Throughout history, the spirit of patriotism has prevailed. The battles may have changed, but the values remain the same. Today, in 2024, we find ourselves at a pivotal moment where the call for unity, freedom, and a better future echoes louder than ever. For more than 10 years, Patriot Mobile has been committed to supporting the values that make our nation great. With affordable plans and reliable nationwide coverage, Patriot Mobile is not just a wireless service. It's a call to action for those who believe in the American dream. Because this year is not just any year, it's the most important year since our nation's founding. Choose a wireless carrier that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
All right, so we'd like to welcome in our Friday morning guest, 7:15 guest, Gene Valentino. Good morning, Gene.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, Pine Belt.
Yeah, so a rainy day this day in the Pine Belt, but we're going to try to get through this anyway. Gene, I was thinking about this. The dominoes are starting to fall. You're starting to see the Donald Trump plan of how to get the world back, a reset. Let's call it a reset. But as we watch this, we see certain dominoes start to fall. And basically the first domino to fall is Maduro. He's gone. The drugs, the torture, the terrible guy that he is, he's done. Now we see in Iran, in conjunction with this, we see 100+ cities that have erupted, regime forces overwhelmed. It appears that there's a full revolution underway in Iran right now. Now, what would that happen? If Iran is overthrown, you're going to get maybe the Pavlov family returns. Maybe you have a Democrat government that reduces or cuts terror funding to Hezbollah, Hamas. I mean, the Middle East will stabilize. You've got China, along the same lines. They're going to retreat from the Western Hemisphere. And all of a sudden, we see the chances of 100 years of globalist control over the world and the United States start to disappear. And I've thought about this a lot, because when you watch what Donald Trump does, he's got a plan. He's playing, people say this, but it's true. He plays 4D chess. And I think that we're going to see so much happen this year in the United States and the world. And I think you can hand it all to Donald Trump. It's all because of him. What do you think?
Well, good introduction, Michael, because it puts into perspective just how feckless the issues are in Minneapolis and internally elsewhere in other rogue areas of this nation that need to get a good spanking. We have a leader that has saved this nation. The world is safer today than it was a week ago. We have a nation that has put Russia and China on their heels, and it's one of those, oh my Lord moments. We didn't expect the United States to finally react, and they did. The sleeping dog has been awakened in the United States. You best get on board and support to save this nation from rogue attempts through the subversive activities in the villages and cities around the nation. It's evidenced by what Donald Trump had to do in the world scene first, which you opened with. It's funny. I was just taking a note on something I had heard the other day. I think we can purchase Greenland for the price of 12 Somali daycare centers.
That's true.
If you look at the corruption and fraud that has begun to be, is now being exposed in the United States, I don't want to hear any noise about the cost to purchase Greenland to save this nation, because the billions of dollars of waste through subversive activities is a cancer whereby we've been eaten from within by wrongdoers. And the distraction, one distraction is this woman in Renee Nicole Good, 37, who was shot in Minneapolis by a ICE agent who was there defending himself. Let the facts speak. Now Minnesota wants to come out and seek information and cooperate with the feds to do an independent investigation on this ICE agent, when you've been blocking and ignoring us for all these years and denying the authority vested in our Constitution through the Separation of Powers Act that legitimizes the federal government getting in here to protect us at the blue sanctuary city levels, when you refuse to do it yourself in an attempt to allow this subversive Marxist thinking to try to overwhelm local governance. Mondami is president. This Fry in Minneapolis is about to get a good spanking himself. But it all started with what you opened with, and that's strong leadership seen throughout the world, that while we handle a defect within our own governance, within our nation, we are still poised to protect our nation from adversaries abroad. And just remember, Venezuela's Machado, who was exiled during the Maduro regime, had a 75+% voter support when she ran. It was Maduro that denied her from taking office. And now that oil, Trump announces that we're seizing from these ships, will be used to gentrify Venezuela. And oh, by the way, pay back some of the billions of dollars we lost in our capitalization of those oil refineries going back decades. Chevron exists now, granted, but what happened to Conoco, ConocoPhillips, Exxon, and some of the others? All bankrupt, put out of business, and are saying to President Trump, if you want us to come back in there and get those refineries going again, we're going to need some American help this time to make sure we don't have another Maduro downstream disrupting that which we create under the new technology for the refining of crude oil.
You know, I would like to step back for just a minute to give you my thoughts on why a lot of these things have been happening across the planet and right here in the United States. And you can take just the example yesterday or day before yesterday, whenever it was, where the 37-year-old woman was shot and killed by an ICE officer. The problem that we've had in this country, and not just this country, but this country allowing these things to happen across the world with no consequences. You see, she thought that she could go through there and try to run down a federal agent or run over or maybe bump him out of the way, whatever she was thinking. We don't know what she was thinking. But she didn't think there would be any consequences for that. She was wrong. And also China and Russia, they don't think there's going to be any consequences. So they continue to do the things that they do, which, you know, when you think about it, it's even our elections in this country have gotten to the point where, you know, oh yeah, oh no, there's, you know, no voter ID, no, there's no consequences for people to just go vote, you know, even if they're not a citizen of this country. So I guess basically what I'm saying is there are now consequences that you will have to pay for if you break the law, if you try the U.S., if you decide you want to invade another country like Russia did in Ukraine, there's consequences for it. And
Yeah.
and I think that is what has happened to this world. No consequence. You know, Gene, you and I both have children. And if you don't correct your children or give them a little spanking on the rear, they will continue to push you, and they will continue to do more and more and more. You have to stop it. And that's what President Trump is doing right now. He's stopping.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's the element of surprise that has been ignited by Donald Trump. He has surprised many that did not expect the responses from the United States that he has given, both internationally and now nationally. For those who underestimate him or are going to try to pull some clever stunt from days gone by, my only comment is buckle up, buddy. You're in for the surprise of your life, because the way we've responded in the past is not the way we're responding in the future. It was almost the takedown of this nation, and by the grace of God, many Americans have rallied together in what I'd call militia packs as well to help protect things at the local level that they were scared to do, that they were otherwise scared to do in the last few decades. This is why the element of surprise has worked so well with Donald Trump taking on some of these wrongdoers. I mean, we've got things going. We just have to protect. We have to make sure that we maintain the authority vested in a president. 4 years ago, you'd say, "Oh my words, we certainly don't want that authority in Biden." Well, that's a different issue. The authority under our Constitution was vested into the president, whether it was Joe Biden or Donald Trump. We now have a remedy. We now have the capability to exercise remedies that were wrongs of the past, and that's what you're witnessing. Congress is, the Supreme Court's looking at the War Powers Act. There's going to be a lot of things that say, nope, the president under Article 2 had the authority vested in him to do what he needed to do. Leave him alone. Hey, by the way, hey, Congress, hey, state legislature, why don't you get back to work and play in your own sandbox and fix the multitude of things you do have authority to fix, and let the administration of these governances at the state and federal level get back and do their job. Remember, what you determined to be the overextension of Donald Trump's authority is directly related to the legislative branch of our government not exercising their own authority through legislation. Where are those constitutional amendments we've been talking about, so that when these crazy politicians come and go, we have a bona fide, strong codicil in place to protect us and our future generations? We need to get those amendments in place to protect us from the bad behavior of the legislative branch that we're electing. And by the way, as a final point, Michael, the bottom line is democracy is grassroots, bottom up. We better look in the mirror at who we voted for and pay attention to our own responsibility of making sure the right person gets into office. And if we don't like it, we best run ourselves for office and try to fix it. But stop expecting the sugar daddy, big government, to come in and give you a check every month to sit on a couch to watch some daytime soap opera. Get to work, be productive, and help grow and protect this nation to improve our way of life, but to improve the way of life for posterity and our grandchildren. That's where we need to be thinking.
You are exactly right. I saw the Treasury Secretary yesterday say that the fraud in this country is approximately 10% of our GDP. Now, that is a huge number. That's material, and that's something that they need to be watching for. We're going to see more about that in the future. We got to go. But thank you so much for joining us, Gene, as you usually do on Friday. We'll see you again next week.
Always a pleasure. Best to you, buddy.
Throughout history, the spirit of patriotism has prevailed. The battles may have changed, but the values remain the same. Today, in 2024, we find ourselves at a pivotal moment where the call for unity, freedom, and a better future echoes louder than ever.
For more than 10 years, Patriot Mobile has been committed to supporting the values
that make our nation great. With affordable plans and reliable nationwide coverage, Patriot Mobile is not just a wireless service. It's a call to action for those who believe in the American dream. Because this year is not just any year, it's the most important year since our nation's founding. Choose a wireless carrier that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.